Gary, you're also covering this afternoon's arguments in the D.C. Court of Appeals over these deportation flights. What are we expecting there?
Yeah, so this sort of goes on two different tracks here. There's the district court case, and then there's the appeals court case, both on the same topic. Just minutes ago in the district court case, Judge Boasberg said he will not vacate his own ruling as the government had requested him to do. So that means at 1:30 p.m. today, the appeals court will hear the government's plea to vacate the judge's ruling, which had stopped Venezuelan flights from taking off from the U.S., heading to El Salvador under the Alien Enemies Act. This is a hearing where they're going to argue this, and it's going to be really in the weeds. It's going to be pretty a dry legal hearing, but it's, of course, an incredibly important topic. But it's important to note, Judge Boasberg's order did not stop the deportation of Venezuelans outright from this country. Just this weekend, we saw 200 Venezuelans get flown back to Venezuela, to the Maduro regime, under what they call a repatriation flight that has since been allowed.
And those reportedly had been cases in which there had been at least some adjudication and were not part of this Alien Enemies Act proclamation. Aaron, Attorney General Bondi, though, is talking about this Alien Enemies Act case, looking ahead to the Supreme Court getting involved in this issue. We also learned this weekend that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is going to visit the notorious prison in El Salvador where those migrants were sent by President Trump. This is clearly a fight the White House wants to have.
Yeah, I think you're right. And the White House has said as much. We've heard from other members of the administration the same thing, that they believe everything that President Trump has done in these first couple of months of his administration has been legal and proper. All of the executive orders, all the executive actions that have been challenged in courts around the country, really, the Department of Justice has been in court arguing against some of the challenges that we've seen from nonprofit organizations, from unions around the country. And so I think what we heard from the Attorney General over the weekend was that when it comes in particular to this, the Alien Enemies Act that the president has used as a way to deport people that he's alleged are members of gangs, the administration believes this is something that is in their authority, that judges trying to push back on that are really acting on foreign policy issues that are the purview of the president. And so their expectation is that this case will make it to the Supreme Court. And Anna, I think if you look at some of the other cases that are out there as they're going into the appeals process now, we can expect other issues to rise up to the level of the Supreme Court as well in the weeks and months to come.
All right, Aaron Gilchrist and Gary Grumbach, thank you both for the reporting. Michelle, the president keeps on blasting Judge Boasberg in this Alien Enemies Act case. And here was Attorney General Pam Bondi this weekend going after him and other judges by name. Listen.
This is an out-of-control judge, a federal judge trying to control our entire foreign policy, and he cannot do it. Look at Judge Chutkan with the EPA trying to control our money. Judge Chang trying to control the money of the U.S. aid. Judge Reyes, look what she did to Pete Hegseth. She made personal attacks in court about Pete Hegseth, and she's trying to control military readiness. You can't do this. And then, of course, Boasberg trying to control our foreign policy. These judges are out of control.
The posture from the White House is judges can't constrain any executive authority in these cases. So what do you see as the impact of these repeated attacks on the judiciary without any pushback from one party?
The judges, I mean, if you look at the drumbeat of rulings in these cases, the judges do not seem to be intimidated by this. You know, we just heard that the administration is up for the fight. I don't think that the judges necessarily see this as a fight. I think that they see this as them doing their jobs as part of the balance of power in government. There's a larger issue, though, that is at play clearly for the Trump administration, which is to establish absolute executive power. And that's not something that is laid out in our Constitution. That's not something that we've seen. So for the larger American public, there's a bigger issue at stake in terms of our balance of power in our country. In the way that you've seen capitulation in the form of corporate America or law firms or college campuses, you don't expect to see that in the courts. The courts are answering to, as you would say, a different authority here and looking at the rule of law. I don't think we've ever seen an Attorney General of the United States make such a personal attack on judges. There usually is a if not a camaraderie, respect, a camaraderie also, like they're on the same team in some respects. But those lines are very fuzzy and very blurry. And on the other hand, you've got judges that are trying to make clear lines of demarcation in terms of the law. And so in each of these cases, there's the case that's at stake, but there's something that's much larger that is at stake, and that is the constitutional issues about the rule of law.
Right. Let's talk about the content of this hearing that's happening today related to deportations to this El Salvadoran prison that's known for human rights abuses. And we have this chilling Time magazine account that was just published over the weekend from a photojournalist who's on the ground there, who was really cataloging the entire intake process from when these detainees arrived last Saturday, a week ago this past Saturday. And he writes this: the intake began with slaps. One young man sobbed when a guard pushed him to the floor. He said, "I am not a gang member. I'm gay. I'm a barber." The reporter then describes the prisoners' heads being shaved, and, quote, the guy who claimed to be a barber began to whimper, folding his hands in prayer as his hair fell. He was slapped. The man asked for his mother, then buried his face in his chained hands and cried as he was slapped again. And, Michelle, the administration's celebrating this kind of optics that were
Well, the reason
outlined.
we know so much about it is exactly that, the optics. The pictures that were beautifully shot. You work in television. You understand the optics that are at work there. Multiple camera shots, shot with very good cameras and very nice lighting. They wanted to send a message to people. They clearly, this is not a camera person that just happened to be there. That was done with quite a bit of forethought. But the two words that we should focus on are due process. You know, this is something you may think, I don't have a gang member in my family. I don't wear tattoos. I don't have fear of being deported. But if you ever were to get caught up in the criminal justice system for something you did, or maybe something that you were mistakenly, that they thought you did and you didn't, you want to make sure that you have due process afforded to you, to your loved ones, to members of your family or your community. And that's where we see a trampling on that idea of due process in this. And so for people who don't think they have something at stake here, this is a very important issue, whether or not you come from Venezuela, whether or not you are presumed to be a gang member. This should be of concern to every American.
The other thing that just strikes me about just how that picture was painted is this dehumanization, which is not the first time. And you think that's the point. But you also talk about, no due process. There's no transparency about how the administration determined that these people were who they say they are, gang members in their words, or terrorists also is a word that's been thrown out there. Do you see this as a slippery slope?
Well, it is even in the way that they're describing this, that some of the people, the tattoos seem to be evidence of their gang affiliation.
Just tattoos or a T-shirt.
Or
in
someone
one case,
who is maybe not in the game, but has affiliated with the gang. Now, this is something that is used, to be fair, in law. I mean, there's asset forfeiture. If you have been involved in criminal activity in any kind of ancillary way, you could be held responsible. You could be seen as an accomplice. But that is usually determined through judicial review, through process, through due process, through the courts. And if you do, this is one of the reasons why I think they're moving swiftly, because they anticipated that there might be speed bumps along the way, and so they moved swiftly to make sure that they could do this without questioning. And so, yes, there is a very slippery slope here.
Michelle Norris, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having
really
me.
appreciate it.